To the Law and Crime Network, I'm Linda Kenny Bodden. Well, Bryan Kohberger was seen in court, in a courtroom in Idaho for the first time since January, where he was arraigned on the charges of first-degree murder and felony burglary to commit murder in the courtroom of Judge John Judge, like the rest of us, getting choked up as he read the indictment for the slayings of Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. While our own Anjanette Levy is setting up for questions and answers with our panel here on the Law and Crime Network, I want to replay to you some of that scene in the courtroom where Bryan Kohberger said 18 words, but you're not going to hear the words of not guilty. Those were entered by the judge. Let's listen.
Directly to the victim's families. If you are found guilty or plead guilty on each charge, and the maximum sentences are imposed consecutively, that means one right after the other, you could be facing 10 years in prison, followed by 4 consecutive life sentences or death penalties, fines of up to $200,000 and $20,000 to be paid directly to the families with any restitution resulting from the crimes. Okay. Kohberger, do you understand the charge in count 1, burglary?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 2, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 3, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 4, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 5, murder in the first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Kohberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
Okay, because Mr. Kohberger is standing silent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge, counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now at this juncture, the state has 60 days to give notice of intention to seek the death penalty, and Mr. Kohberger has a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy trial. So let's start with you, Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Thompson to discuss some scheduling.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial right. We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today.
Okay. Have you counted out when that will be? November?
I have not counted it out, Your Honor, but I believe that would be about November 22nd is when the speedy will run. Maybe November or somewhere around there. So I'd ask the court to set it for an October trial date.
How long do you think it will take to try the case?
My best guess is it would take at least 4 weeks, maybe 6.
So you'd like me to set this for a 6-week trial?
At this point, I would, Your Honor.
Well, and in order to do so, I will have to...
And there you have it. The judge has entered a plea on behalf of Bryan Kohberger when he and his attorney, Ann Taylor, stood silent on the charges of felony burglary to commit a murder and 4 counts of intentional, willful, and premeditated murder for the killings of the 4 victims, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. With me, you know him very well because you watched him on our network, is the great trial attorney, Ben Chu. Ben, we all saw you in a civil case involving Johnny Depp. This is also a case, but it's an important criminal case. All victims here, all the decedents are entitled to the right. Even the judge got choked up when he couldn't even say the names of the victims. Did you expect us to hear Bryan Kohberger's voice say not guilty, or is this an appropriate plea when the death penalty is still being considered by the prosecution?
Hi, Linda. Great to see you again. Yes, I did. I mean, as you pointed out, I'm really on the civil side, but I would have expected to hear something from Bryan Kohberger, but he does have a chilling equanimity about him. Anybody else who would be accused of these heinous crimes, I would think, would be showing some form of emotion, but it almost makes it scary to see him not addressing the charges and just having very little affect.
Yeah, and very interesting, Ben, that you mentioned that. And of course, I should have said hello to you in a proper manner here. But when he was asked whether or not he understood his rights, he said, yes, I did. And whether or not he had any questions about the charges and those rights, he said, no. Is your name spelled correctly? Yes. Is your 4 digits of your Social Security? Yes. And then, of course, do you understand these counts? Yes. But when it came to entering a plea, I too, like you, he was so strong with regard to understanding his rights. It kind of scared me a little bit, and I'm a pretty seasoned trial attorney. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it almost, as one of your other commentators pointed out, it's almost as if he's playing a predetermined part in a play that he scripted himself. There's something about him that appears very purposeful.
And yet, of course, he has a right to abide by everything that's provided in the criminal procedure in Idaho, one of which, as we know, is to stand silent, especially until and while the death penalty is being considered for the next 60 days. Ben, I know you're going to stay with us here at the network. On the other side, our own Anjanette Levy is going to do a question and answer session after she tells us what happened to court, because she was there. Please stay with us. Send in your questions, by the way, also.